Hello guys, welcome to Fast Coder 21 Medical Coding YouTube channel. So in order to help the people who are entering into the medical coding field and the people who are currently working in the medical coding, we have started this channel to provide refresher sessions. In this session, we are going to learn denial management, interview, coding questions and answers. As usual, when you are going to learn new topic in coding, we need to know the definition of that process. In our session, we are going to learn denial management coding. So we need to know the meaning of the denial management here. So what is denial management? So denial management is the process of systematically investigating each denial, performing root cause analysis of why each claim was denied, analyzing denial trends to uncover a trend by one or more insurance carriers, and redesigning or re-engineering the process to prevent or reduce the risk of future denials. So basically, denial management is the process of systematically investigating each denial. As all of us know, there are various reasons for denial. It is like from coding side, documentation side, and also from demos entering stage side. So whenever we find denials due to coding or demos or modifiers, we need to analyze the denial status and we need to find the root cause for those denials. So denial management, the teamwork, which by the teamwork of the all the people in the company, we can reduce the denials. Next question. What is meant by revenue cycle? Revenue cycle means all administrative and clinical functions that contribute to the capture, management, and collection of patient service revenue. So, revenue management is the process of capture, management, and collection of patient service revenue. Next question. What is the life cycle of a claim? The following will include in a life cycle of a claim. Patient encounter created, services rendered, charges entered, coding, adjudication for expected reimbursement, editing and correction of claim, billing, collections and appeals. So whenever patients comes, so patient encounter will be created and then services will be rendered. After the services, charges will be entered and after we will do the coding and adjudication for expected reimbursement, editing and correction of claim. If you have any claim corrections, we need to do before the billing, and after the claim corrections, we need to go ahead with the billing, and after the billing, we need to collect the revenue from the payers. And if you have any denials, we need to appeal. Next question. What are the distinctions between hard and soft coding? Coding occurs in two ways, hard coding and soft coding. Hard coding is when codes are assigned by the CDM without human intervention, whereas soft coding is when codes are manually assigned by a coding specialist. So basically, hard coding is when without human intervention, while a soft coding is with the human intervention. So example for hard coding. Let us look at a complete blood count. So a complete blood count is always the same. So whoever is the patient, complete blood count is the always same. So while the results of the test may differ from one patient to another, the test itself always looks at the same things from a blood sample. Because a complete blood count will always be reported with the same code, it is usually hard coded in the CDM. What is CDM here? Computer data management. So now we will learn about soft coding. So a fracture would be soft coded because each fracture is different. The fracture could be of any bone in a different place on each bone. Different parts of the bone could be open or closed. So there are different codes for different types of fractures. So this would be soft coded. So it's not possible to enter a standard single code to enter fracture code. So basically hard coding is repeat coding. Whenever there is a standard procedure for all the patients, we can keep those codes in the hard coding process. So whenever there is a changes in the coding process or disease process, as it will differentiate from one patient to another, we will use soft coding. Next question. What is the use of claim scrubber? Use of claim scrubber is as follows. Reviewing the claim for duplicate, illogical, invalid coding, modifier requirements, coverage determinations, units of service, missing CPTs or ECPICs. Which type of form is useful for facility billing? UB04. Which form is useful for professional fee billing? Form number 1500. What are the basic claim components? Answer. The following are the basic claim components: diagnosis code, PCS code, CPT HICPICS codes, revenue code, rate, unit, modifier, value code, condition code. So whenever we see a claim, we need to have all these components. So how many fields are there in UB4 form? We have 81 fields in UB4 form. So what is DNFB? Discharged not final billed. So next question. What are the functions of outpatient code editor? Answer. First function is edit claims to identify errors and identify claim and line dispositions. Second function is assign APC numbers for each service covered under OPPS and return information to be used as input to the OPPS pricer software. Next question. What are included in denial management process? Common types of payment denials, methods of monitoring and tracking denials, impact payment denials have on the provider. So what are the types of denials based on claims? Partial denial and full denials. So what are the common types of denials? Basically we have denials in various types. So technical or administrative denials, clinical denials, out of network denials and downgrades. Next question. What is technical or administrative denial and can you tell me few examples? Answer. A technical or administrative denial is generally identified after claim submission. Examples include eligibility, out of network, exceeds plan benefit, non-cover, not a benefit, inclusive procedure. So whenever we have all these categories, we will consider it as a technical or administrative denial. Next question. What is ABN? ABN means Advanced Beneficiary Notice. So, when an outpatient service provided to a Medicare beneficiary does not meet medical necessity, providers must provide the patient with an Advanced Beneficiary Notice. This document identifies any service Medicare will not cover. The ABN provides the patient with a formal notice that the service to be provided is uncovered and is the patient's responsibility to pay. This ABN must be furnished to and signed by the beneficiary prior to service. If it is not, the service is considered non-covered and not the patient is not responsible. Basically, whenever the Medicare patient visits the hospital, if the service is not covered under Medicare, so patient needs to sign on ABN, which is Advanced Beneficiary Notice. So what is the use of this document? So using this document, physician tells the patient that this service will not be covered under Medicare. Patient needs to pay his own money. What is a clinical denial and example? A clinical denial can result when a payer disputes the medical necessity, length of stay, or level of care, any one of them. So, certain outpatient services may not be paid unless the diagnosis justify medical necessity. So, payers may statutorily exclude certain services. Examples include length of stay authorization, outpatient clinical denial, and Medicare medical necessity. So whenever we code, we need to check the medical necessity in order to reduce the denials. So medical necessity will come under clinical denial. So whenever we code a procedure, we need to code the reasonable diagnosis code to the procedure performed. Next question, what is a revenue code? A revenue code indicates the department or place in which a procedure or treatment is performed. For example, an emergency room, operating room, or some other department. This helps the insurance companies to identify the type, place, and supplies used for a procedure while making the payment. So, revenue code is a 4-digit numeric code created by the National Uniform Billing Committee to describe a department, service center, or GL area required on claims. The revenue codes are important because the insurance company pays medical claims based on the rates of the place where the procedure is performed. This makes the reimbursement process hassle-free and prevents rejection of claims. So basically, revenue codes are the based on the location we have revenue codes. So for example, we have one revenue code for emergency room, another for operating room, or another for some other departments. So this helps the insurance companies to identify the type, place, and supplies used for a procedure while making the payment. Next question, what are condition codes? Condition code is a 2-digit alphanumeric code added to the claim by the provider to describe conditions that apply to the dates of service on the claim updated and approved by NUBC. An outpatient example is a patient presenting to the emergency room twice on the same day. Condition code G0 distinct medical visit on same day in same revenue center. So basically in order to explain number of visits on the same day, physician needs to use G0 code, which is a condition code. So G0 code is a example for condition code. Next question, what are value codes? A 2-digit alphanumeric code added to the claim by the provider to describe codes and related values necessary for processing the claim updated and approved by NUBC. Some value codes are required with specific condition codes. An example is value code 68 requiring the number of units of EPO administered during dates of service on the claim. Next question, what is claim rejection? The entire claim is rejected. It can be corrected and resubmitted, but the claim rejection cannot be appealed. So what is claim denial? The entire claim is denied. The claim cannot be corrected and resubmitted but can be appealed. What is claim return to provider? Usually we'll call it as RTP. The entire claim is returned and not processed. It can be corrected and resubmitted. What is claim suspension? The entire claim is suspended for intermediary review. So what is line item denial? An individual line item is denied, but the rest of the claim is processed for payment. The the denied line item cannot be corrected and resubmitted, but can be appealed. So while you coding, you will find this line item denial. So what is this? An individual line item is denied, but the rest of the claim is processed for payment. So only that line item code is denial. So remaining all codes will be paid. Next question, what is MAC? So MAC means Medicare Administrative Contractors. What is RAC? Recovery Audit Contractors. What is SET? SET means Comprehensive Error Rate Testing. What is it? NCDs. National Coverage Determinations. What is LCDs? Local Coverage Determinations. So in these determinations we have CPT codes as well as ICT codes. So whenever there is a procedure, we need to check the LCD or NCD based on the payer requirement in the NCD LCD's website or available resources. What are the general billing issues related to claim rejection? Performing PIN is not valid. So primary insurers name not well listed or illegal or illegible. Service denied for insufficient information for referring, ordering physician. Name or Medicare number is incorrect. Service is not payable. Claim is missing information. Documentation, zip code of service location. Claim number inaccurate or missing. So, so in order to reduce the general billing issues, we need to correct all these points in the claims. So next one, what are the coding issues related to claim rejection? So this is billing issues related to claim rejection. This one is coding issues related to claim rejection. So code and modifier incorrect, valid. Diagnosis not coded to the highest level of specificity. Diagnosis code reference number is missing. So this will lead to coding issues related to claim rejection. So can you tell me few tips to prevent denials? Answer. First tip is need to use 8 over 20 rule. As a rule of thumb, 80% of issues are caused by 20% of the problems. So second tip is to determine actions needed to correct identified problems. Third tip is need to implement updated policy and educate staff to prevent continued issues with problems identified. Fourth tip is need to utilize practice management software rules engine if available. Final tip is to create culture of zero tolerance for preventable denial. So it is like a teamwork. So each and everyone needs to participate in order to prevent the denials. So what is the difference between EOB? Usually we'll call it as explanation of benefits and an RA, remittance advice. Basically, EOB is sent to the patients and remittance of advice is sent to the provider who bill the service. Both types of statements provide an explanation of benefits. The content of the RA and the EOB is nearly identical with the exception of a few minor differences. The major difference between RAs and EOBs is that an EOB contains a disclaimer stating the EOB is not a bill. Next question. What information do RAs and EOBs contain? In general, both RAs and EOBs contain this information. Information regarding the patient, the service provider, any adjustments made to the claim, the type of procedure performed, the date of procedure performed, cost of the procedure, all explanation if the payment was denied. Additional information regarding the patient's benefits may be included as well, including particulars of the plan such as co-payments and deductibles. Next question. How can practices help ease the confusion that patients often have about EOBs? Practices should explain to patients what the EOB will tell them and try to help them interpret it. So practices could let their patients bring in EOBs and explain them or post explanation on their website as a helpful service. Some practices offer education classes for patients to teach them about EOBs. It is a good idea. Next question. How can practices utilize their RAs to streamline their process? Answer. All billing staff should spend time studying the reason cited for adjustments or denials from the RA they received. Each RA message should be tracked to ensure that any pattern of inappropriate adjustments or denials are addressed to evaluate processes, work to improve them as needed, and ensure maximum reimbursement. Billers should also use remittance advisors to compare what was paid to the published fee should schedule from the insurer to ensure payments were made according to payer contracts. Component procedure with the comprehensive procedure. Next question. What happens if the same procedure has both NCDs and LCDs? When there is an NCDs and an LCD for the same procedure, the NCD takes precedence. Guys, if you like this session, please motivate us by click on the like button and also subscribe to Passcoder 21 YouTube channel. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching Passcoder 21. If you have any comments, please mention in the comment section.